Hello and welcome to our latest edition of our Business Spotlight series. I'm delighted today to be joined by Emilio Vences from Heaton Vences. Hello, Emilio. Great to have you with us.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem at all. So let's kick off by having a chat just about what it is you do and telling us a bit more about Heaton Vences.
Yeah, so Heaton Vences is a digital first chartered accountancy firm. We started around 3 years ago. We don't like to say we're from somewhere because we're kind of taking our approach of being digital first, right? So we kind of work with clients all across the UK. But our business has pretty much originated from Norfolk, so that's where we first started. And basically, Joseph and I started the business as co-founders with one another, working in a environment, in a corporate environment from where we were started from. And obviously, we saw some problems that existed with kind of what we're dealing with. And often it was communication and proactivity. So we kind of took that kind of way of thinking and kind of instituted it into the type of work that we're doing with our clients now, except we've kind of marketed ourselves as being more of a boutique firm. We take a low number of clients and we kind of deliver on a proactive and value-added service. So a lot of ours is more advisory based than just the compliance aspect. So we're kind of looking at obviously expanding the business as we go along, and there's a lot of expansion plans in terms of moving HV in different locations across the world, but also across the UK. So for us, it's kind of like we're still learning as we go along, but our businesses has grown pretty quickly over the last 3 years, and yeah, we're kind of excited where the journey is going to take us.
That sounds fantastic. And so that digital first element, tell us a bit about your typical client then that you normally work with.
Yeah, so it's kind of difficult because they're all kind of very unique. I mean, like I said about our proposal to most of our clients is that we don't take on more than we can chew. So often it would be that we take on a maximum of 30 clients per person to manage. And we're never having someone employed to manage those clients. It's often that it's either Joseph or I kind of talk to those clients and being at the forefront of the conversation. In terms of the ideal client we're talking to and what they look like, they're often business owners who are, say, entrepreneurs who have started their business. They're turning over less than 10 million a year, but they're looking to still remain active within the business and still run it. So they're looking at, really receiving the advice from us, straight to them. But often it's kind of like we've turned down clients as well in the past that haven't fit with our kind of ethos because they've kind of either not focused on our sustainability credentials, so like investing in our ecology forests and stuff like that, but also they haven't fit in with actually being owner led. They're more like director led. So often we've had points where we just don't want to take on clients who just don't fit in with that kind of niche. So most of them actually are all remote as well. So they're working from, say, some are working from Poland, some are working from Cyprus, some are working from Dubai, some are working from Mexico. So a lot of them are kind of remote and they have subsidiaries in the UK. Or they're often all across the country. I mean, we've got a significant amount of clients in Norfolk, of course, but there are a lot of clients around the country that kind of just want that kind of digital approach rather than thinking, oh, well, I need my accountant down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. It opens up to that global audience by the sound of things as well. So tell us, how did you get to accountancy in the first place?
Well, I used to work. Well, actually, I did my degree to begin with at UEA. I studied something like sports science of all things, so this is completely outside of what I'm actually doing at the moment. But at the time, I was living in Hong Kong before I came to the UK. My dad always worked in hotels, so at the time I didn't really know what I wanted to do because all I saw him was traveling in the world and obviously going into different hotels every 2 or 3 years. So for me, it was like I kind of fell into something that was fitness because I loved getting involved in that. But after a while, I didn't see the prospect of actually getting job opportunities in that industry. So I kind of moved into working at what we spoke about just earlier was about working at Ratkeith. So pretty much I worked for an organization there which pretty much managed these grain silos. So we used to work alongside this other supplier. And obviously for me, that was a lot of manual labor. I got sick of it quite quickly. And everyone kind of has this story where they kind of fall into something afterwards, right? So for me, I kind of got convinced by the FD at the time to say, why don't you try accountancy? Why don't you try and study AAT? So I studied AAT at first, and I thought, okay, this is a bit easy. I can try something more. So I started studying for ACCA, and I started having the conversation of trying to work at a firm in the city centre. And then after that, I kind of got sick of working for also an employer who had their own systems. I kind of wanted to develop my own way of doing things. And Joseph had the same issue. You know, we were following a pathway that was set for someone who probably wasn't so entrepreneurial, and at the same time, we probably had the entrepreneurial spirit as well to kind of do something on our own. So reality came where we kind of said, okay, well, we don't want to follow the rules. We want to do something completely different. We want to test the waters. And then we just jumped ship and kind of felt our way through doing something on our own. And you know, it's paid itself really. I mean, we've spent a lot of time on the business, but it's just evolving as we go along.
It's fantastic. And so with you and Joseph now running the business together, what do you find you enjoy the most?
Well, I think a lot of it is I think a lot of it's the conversations with the clients. I think if it's the accounting, a lot of it can be done by a junior level or someone who's, you know, obviously given instruction. But a lot of it is the conversations we have with clients. We're helping them actually understand the numbers. I find a lot of accountants out there focus on the compliance, but they don't focus on what those numbers are actually telling their clients to help them make informed decisions. So ultimately, we're trying to talk to our clients on a monthly basis rather than just turn up every quarter when there's a VAT return due, or talk about some management accounts, or maybe a year later when the accounts are due. We kind of want to make sure we're talking more than just about finance. And reality for us is that we kind of are business owners ourselves. So we are in the best position to kind of empathize with those people that are creating their own businesses too. So we're kind of in that position where we're talking more about business, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about the opportunities that come to their business and in working kind of in a similar way that we do, even talking about their sustainability models and like saying, okay, like, have you thought about what you can give back? Because you're driving around every day, going back and forth to London, or you're going back and forth to Cambridge and using a diesel vehicle. Have you thought about maybe going to get an electric vehicle? Have you thought about maybe investing some time into building an ecology forest or something? And, you know, already we've put like 15,000 trees in our forest. So for us, we're developing this kind of mindset with our clients as well, which is kind of encourages us to kind of keep doing that and encouraging our clients to do the same thing. I think I just looked up the other day, we have like, I think we're the top 100 on ecology for like encouraging other people to obviously refer them to using ecology too. So we're kind of going in the right direction. I think we can do way more, but it's all about time, and it's all about us learning as well, because we left our positions at a very early point, and most people who are going into setting up their own chartered accountancy firm have been in firms, probably in corporate firms, probably for like 20 years. And then they felt like they gained the confidence and the experience to then do it themselves. But we're trying to educate also another way of thinking, and also trying to encourage people that it's not just based about experience from a longevity point of view. It's also about enabling yourself to be in circumstances that actually enhance your experience. So what I've learned in probably the last 3 years is probably 20 years worth that I would learn in a corporate environment. Do you see what I mean? So for me, it's kind of like being thrown in the deep end has given me that opportunity, and that's actually what I thrive off.
Oh, it's amazing. And that empathy and first-hand experience you have to share with your clients. I wonder then, what are the biggest challenges that you face in running the business?
Time. I don't know about you, but I just find like I'm constantly trying to battle my I don't know. I feel like I postpone things quite easily. And it's not because I don't want to do them. I think it's because I'm still learning how to prioritize things as I go along. I think there's no perfect way to do things, but I think for me, I'm still trying to learn more about myself. And I think that's the biggest challenge is trying to learn how to adapt as much as I can. So my self-awareness is obviously improving, but I think I need to invest more time in that. And also investing time in that, having more discretionary time is very difficult. because if you focus on all the operational side of things, obviously that's in the back burner waiting for you to start doing it. But of course, it's all relative, right? And at the end of the day, you're trying to build a business and generate revenue. Ultimately, you got to put food on the table, and it's trying to make balance the whole thing together, right? And the other challenge we've actually had recently is we've actually had to increase our costs, because as you grow, you take a step back and then you obviously invest into other opportunities. So, where we were probably like a year and a half ago, our monthly spend was probably like, £1,500. That was pretty much our limit, because we knew we couldn't spend more. And obviously we had our own journey and our own aspirations to spend the excess cash in order for us to grow personally. Where now it's like £10,000 a month, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh damn, like what else can I do to make sure that I can actually put more in my pocket? So it's a selfish obsession with a business, and obviously that's what we're trying to ensure everyone understands. But yeah, I think the biggest challenge is time, and making sure that we give ourselves more time as well.
Mm-hmm. And then just thinking about the success of a business, if anyone is watching this, listening to this, and thinking about going out on their own, setting up in business, what advice would you give to them?
I would say, don't question things for too long. I think a lot of people sit on an idea and leave it for it to be too late. Essentially, if you have an idea, there's no point in losing out on that idea. You might as well just trial it, see if it works. And I think if someone tells you it's a bad idea, it's only because they didn't come up with it. So often it's because people are gonna, they're gonna seek they probably seek gratification out of seeing other people fail. So the honest truth is, if you find your own voice and you find your own reason, then of course then you're gonna amount to anything and become very successful. So I would say, when you're young, there's a lot of opportunity, but I think when you become older, there's limitations, because of course you have more responsibilities. You start putting children into that perspective. You start putting a house into that perspective. You start putting all these assets and liabilities into the real world. I think when people are young, that's the best chance to jump. And I think, I'm not saying, when you're older, you can't do those things, but there are obstacles that you have to get around to be able to achieve those certain things in life. So I think discovery is the most important thing when you're starting off.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Wonderful piece of advice to share there. And it's been wonderful speaking with you today. Just before we go, if anyone does want to find out more about Heaton Vences, where should they go? How can they find out more about you?
We're pushing a lot on social media now. So we've got our Instagram, we've got LinkedIn, so our company page on there, but I'm on LinkedIn quite actively anyway. And obviously our website, we've got a lot of access on there. So if people want to learn anything about, what Heaton Vences is doing, and also if they want to get an idea, if they want to do something similar and set up their own practice or their own agency or whatever industry it's in, happy to provide advice to others that are seeking some advisory from someone else.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, and wishing you all the very best for the future of Heaton Vences.
Thank you very much.